Namaskar. Yes. So, Rajendra ji, please.
We'll be doing 1 minute of meditation before we start the session. So let us do meditation for a minute. Thank you. Namaskar.
Yes, namaskar. Oh, yes, yes. Govardhan ji is ready for doing that.
Will you please take over? Thank
you. Yes, Dada. Namaskar, Dada.
Oh, namaskar, Govardhan ji. Yes, please.
So, namaskar, everyone.
Namaskar.
So, today's our topic is life skill in outside education as well as in the neo-humanistic education. So, in this regard, first, let me give a brief background. Today, many of the state educational boards and central boards like CBSE, ICSE, and even National New Education Program 2020 India, including UNICEF and WHO, World Health Organization also, they speak about the life skills in our education. We all believe that today's child is tomorrow's citizen. So today's world has become too complex and people are unable to handle their emotions, finances, school performance, health, etc. As a result, because after Industrial Revolution, things have become too complex to handle, and when they feel that it is difficult for them to handle, as a result, the self-esteem and the social confidence levels are too low in them. As a result, they are suffering from various complexes such as inferiority complex, superiority complex, fear complex, defeatist complex, etc. So this is leading to various problems in their individual life as well as social life. For example, now the suicide, according to the National Crime Records Bureau, NCRB, so they say that in every 1 lakh people in India, 12 people are committing suicides. And among the students, if you see, from the last 5 years, the suicide rate is steadily rising among the students. For example, in the 2020, the students died by suicide are 12,526, whereas in 2021, it increased 7.2% and 13,089 students have died of suicides. This clearly indicates that there has to be something in our education system which can make our students, our citizens capable enough to deal with the changed circumstances. Means they must be in a position to adapt themselves to the changing circumstances and readily face any problem in their individual as well as the collective life. So, and at the same time, we too have neo-humanistic education. So many of us, the participants, are familiar with it. So when the underlying spirit of a person extends to both animate and inanimate world, we call it as a neo-humanism. And the education which is based on neo-humanism is called neo-humanistic education. And in neo-humanistic education, apart from the paravidya, we also teach aparavidya so that the students will become all-round enough to face any problem.
We have problem.
Emotional and spiritual. So now the session is. Am I audible?
Yes, you are breaking sometimes. Please go ahead.
Yeah. So neo-humanistic education, as I've already told, is based on neo-humanism, which emphasizes us to extend the underlying spirit to both animate as well as the inanimate world. So neo-humanistic education teaches us both para and aparavidya so that the student can handle all sorts of problems, be it at the physical level or psychic level or emotional level or the spiritual level. So now I request any one of the participants to share his views. Now the session is open.
Thank you. His or her views, not only his views.
Yes, sir. Sure.
Please, yes. Okay. Thank you. Welcome all. Please, I think we have sufficient materials in the opening remarks by the coordinator, Dr. Govardhan Ji. So I will want that please share your views, your thoughts on the matter. The topic is very timely and it depends how we educate our new generation, new class of citizens for the country. Please give your thoughts. Agarwal ji, AK Agarwal, please. LK Agarwal.
Thank you, Dada.
Yes, please.
First of all, I would like to give my introduction. This is LK Agarwal from Patna. I was working, I am a retired person now, and I was working in UNICEF, Bihar, in the education field for the last 20 years. And I have...
1 minute, sir, you may turn on your video. You may turn on your video. Because people should see you as we speak. Yes.
Are you able to get Dada?
Yes.
So, in this UNICEF and working with UNFPA, I have lots of reports regarding it. The first thing is that the coordinator just now quoted that how many people are committing suicide and how many of them are in the anxiety disorder and all. I would like to share some data, the present data of 1920, 21 probably. There are anxiety disorders, 40% of the students are in anxiety disorder, 16 and 24% of STD victims are between the age of 16 to 20. 10% of the urban school-going children are having premarital sex, and 3% out of that 3% have undergone abortions. 32% of urban teenagers are consuming alcohol and 25% smokes. So this is the latest data which the UNFPA has submitted to the government. Are you able to get Dada?
Yes, we are listening. Yeah, please continue.
So actually, how can this be stopped is a point in question. UNICEF has been trying for the last decade to stop this, but ultimately the result is negligible. actually there is no result at all, I must say. As neo-humanistic education is concerned, we have probably not done much in the schools. And the reason behind it was what I find is that we are not having a powerful module, training module for the teachers as well as the students. So what actually the teachers, students, and the parents need? The worry of every parent is, in the today's scenario, is that how will my child face the competitive atmosphere? This is the very prime question which the parents have. The second is that how will my child cope with the fast changing world of today? And how will I protect my child from the growing negative influence in the society? And lastly, how will my child face frustrations which is inevitable in life? Baba has given, Shri P.R. Sarkar has given everything as far the worries of the parent and students and teachers is there. But we are not able to project it in the right way. So I strongly advocate that the first and the prime necessity is, the prime thing is that all the educationists of Anand Marg who are acquainted with neo-humanistic education should unite together to develop a training module for the teachers and the students, and definitely I will help them to fabricate such module.
Thank you. Thank you very much. We will please come back again. We'll call you. Let's hear from some more people. That's the introductory thought you have. Dada Harananji, please. Okay.
My video has been muted by host. I would request to unmute. Sorry.
Sure. Sir, you can do by yourself. Nobody will stop you.
But, yeah, I'm trying to do, but the indication is coming that the host has disabled it.
Okay, now can you try now?
Okay, yes. I think yes.
Okay, please go ahead.
Now, am I visible?
Yes.
Okay. I fully agree with my previous two speakers who have hit the bull's nail on the head. The precise data that has been read out before us is absolutely correct. There is no doubt about it. I think the root cause is lack of mental peace and lack of equilibrium. As Baba has clearly said that the mismatch of speed and rhythm is causing a problem. Here, one thing I would like to point out, the idea of forming a training module is wonderful. But as Baba has rightly said, that the role of the family should not be pushed into the background, because he says that the primary role of educating the child in every sense, in the neo-humanistic sense, is that of the family. Now here, let us try to understand things. The nuclear families, as we mostly saw urban data from urban centers being quoted. So let's talk now with reference to urban centers. The urban centers have witnessed a phenomenon of nuclearization of family. So joint family system has broken down. Now in this nuclear family system, the parents, either they do not have time for the child, that could be one of the major reasons, or if the father is moving out and the mother is a housewife, the mother doesn't have the adequate skills to handle the children. She has the emotional skills. I'm not disputing the role of mothers. They all have the emotional skills. But, this phenomenon of matching of speed and rhythm needs some additional skills and understanding of the problem, comprehension. Because I know many young families which keep on discussing issues with me, about their child not responding to their call of any sort, not responding to the request, to their advice, suggestion, whatever. Now, the problem is that if the child feels neglected within the walls of the house, he or she will naturally feel that you don't have time for me, so I pursue my own goals. So this technology, which we have leveraged through social media, YouTube, Facebooks, and all this, has added and compounded the problem of the younger generation, because if somebody does not teach me what is Prabhat Sangeet, naturally I will move on to YouTube to listen to some film songs or to some Western music. So that is not the problem of the child. If the child is not taught about, say, Upanishad or Bhagavad Gita, the child is bound to read, Harry Potter. I mean, you cannot blame the child for this. So the vacuum of the brain of a developing child has to be filled basically by the parent, because 7 to 8 hours, fine, he or she spends in school. But the remaining 15, 16 hours, these children spend with their families, whether mothers, brothers. So it is the collective duty. So what is happening these days, I have seen, nobody has the time for their children. Everybody is so busy, and I must say without business, most of them, that the children are getting neglected. Now what is happening? This, I was hearing to a leading social scientist. He rightly pointed out that this present generation is suffering from 3 major illusions. So one illusion, he says, the difference, he says, between, friendship and intimacy. He says that on Facebook, you can just accept a friend's request, and if you don't like him or her, you can unfriend him or her. So friending and unfriending begins the relationship and ends the relationship. So this is not the definition of any relationship, which needs a lot of emotional inputs, time inputs to develop. So what I wanted to say, that we have to highlight this role of families in the growth of the child. Right up to the, teenagers are committing maximum number of suicides, as we heard from the data that was quoted, and rightly so. So handling teenagers between 13 and 19 is the most challenging assignment, when they have a lot of dreams getting floated through YouTube's, internet, and nobody is there to talk to them. So their speed is much higher than the speed of the parents. And we can't blame everything on generation gap. That, look, I belong to the older generation, so I can't understand. We have to understand. If we have children in our family, if we can produce children, we have the responsibility of grooming them. So that was the part. School part, yes, fine. Since the topic today is Neo-Humanistic education. But education does not mean only schooling. Family education is equally important. So that is very crucial. And secondly, when we move on to school, I totally agree with Dada that we have not done sufficient work to enlighten people. And we rightly so, we don't have probably a training module which can train teachers and students. We need to work on that. So these were the few submissions as far as the problem.
Yes, please just stay on, and more thoughts will come. Lokesh Kumar, what will be your suggestions here, please?
जी दादाजी नमस्कार, और सभी दादा दीदी को नमस्कार। जैसे हरनानंद दादाजी ने कहा और सभी दादाजी ने कहा, वो बात भी अच्छी है, लेकिन मैं स्पेशली हरनानंद दादाजी की बात से काफी ज्यादा सहमत हूँ, और उसी तरह का मेरा भी थॉट है कि जिस तरह से फैमिली की बात दादाजी ने की, उसी में हम अगर फोकस करेंगे, और हमारा जैसे स्कूली सिस्टम पे हम फोकस करते हैं, उससे पहले हम माता पिता की एजुकेशन पे फोकस करेंगे कि माता पिता को हमें क्या सिखाना है कि वो बच्चों को किस प्रकार से आगे के लिए गाइड कर सकें। वो सारी टेक्निक, वो सारा मनोविज्ञान, वो माता पिता को सिखाना है। तो उसको सिखाने के लिए एक ट्रेनिंग होती है, एक पूरा एक कोर्स होता है। पेरेंटिंग का, तो वो पेरेंटिंग का कोर्स माता पिता को कंपलसरी सिखाना जरूरी है। क्योंकि जब से बच्चा जन्म लेता है तब से गर्भ काल के बाद से ही, वैसे तो शिक्षा गर्भ काल से पहले से ही आरंभ हो जाती है माता पिता की, अगर वो भी अगर की जाए, उस प्रोसेस को भी लागू किया जाए, वो भी हमारे कांटेक्ट में है, उसको भी आगे अगर हम बढ़ाएं तो बहुत अच्छा है। लेकिन ये जो सेकेंडरी स्टेप है, जब बच्चे ने जन्म ले लिया है तो उसका मनोविज्ञान समझते हुए, उसका स्वास्थ्यगत दृष्टिकोण समझते हुए, फिर हम किस किस प्रकार से हमें अपने अंदर परिवर्तन लाने हैं, वो सारा उसके सामने कैसे बिहेव करना है, कैसे बात करना है, क्या चीजें रखना है। दादा ने जैसे बोला कि बहुत सारी हमें क्या उसको साहित्य उपलब्ध कराना है, तो वो सब चीजें माता पिता को प्रॉपरली क्लियर होना चाहिए। और उनके जो ग्रैंड पेरेंट्स हैं या जो उनका एटमोसफेयर है, वो उनको भी उनको अपने फेवर में रखना पड़ेगा। कि ऐसा नहीं कि कोई कुछ कह रहा है, कोई कुछ कह रहा है, कोई किस तरह की बात कर रहा है, बात करने का tone कैसा है, और लैंग्वेज कैसी है, वर्डिंग्स कैसी है, बहुत सारी चीजें माता पिता को सब सीखनी होंगी। और उसके साथ में जो बात दादा ने कहा कि जो एक स्टैंडर्ड है एजुकेशन का, जो चीजें सीखना है बच्चे को, गीता सीखनी है या आनंद सूत्रम सीखना है, बहुत सारी चीजें हम बच्चे के दिमाग में अपने माहौल से, जैसे कहा जाता है, मैं एक उदाहरण देता हूँ, बच्चे को 3 चीजों से मुख्य रूप से सिखाया जाता है। वो 3 चीजें हैं, जैसे कहानी, खेल और गीत। ये इसका प्रभाव बच्चे के मन पे बहुत पड़ता है, और वो 8-10 साल की उम्र में इसी से सीखता है। तो इसको कवर करने के लिए किस प्रकार की कहानियां माँ बाप को कहनी है, इसकी ट्रेनिंग उसको एकदम ट्रेंड होना चाहिए। और क्योंकि बच्चे को जो भूख है ना, वो सेकेंडरी भूख उसकी कहानी है। सेकंड चीज जो है गाना, जैसे हम प्रवास संगीत है, तो बाबा ने इतना अच्छा विशाल संग्रह दिया है कि उसमें हम उसको एकदम वो कर सकते हैं, सेमलाइज कर सकते हैं। तो माता पिता को इसकी अच्छी ट्रेनिंग होनी चाहिए। और एक कहा, और खेल, किस प्रकार के खेल माता पिता ज्यादा से ज्यादा सीखें, तो तीनों चीजों से क्या है, बच्चे का माइंड हम बाहर के
Okay,
मोबाइल
sir.
से, टीवी
Okay,
से,
sir. There are more hands raised, so please wait. We got the message कि माता पिता का एक बहुत बड़ा, there is a big role of parents and the elders in the family in educating the new generation. That point is very clear and true. And problem is that our older generation, parent generation themselves are more involved in the tools, in the WhatsApp and all those things, social media, and they have little time for their children. Okay, we will come back to that further. Surendra Reddy ji and then Madhusudan ji, please. Surendra Reddy. Please unmute yourself and Surendra Reddy ji. Yes.
Yeah, namaskar, Dada.
Namaskar. Yeah. बोलिए.
Dada, we have deal with another aspect, that is presently.
Please, you can start your video also, please. Yes.
Okay. So, what is it about educational environment? We have to look at the whole situation as it. What are the educational environments we have to provide with the new generation, and that is the challenge that we have today in education system, or in bringing up children or nurturing children in all aspects. See, what actually has happened is that today education has become, they say now, is a journey. Education is not a site. Education is not a particular place, you have got a school, you have got a location. So here it has become a kind of a journey. And one angle to this another environment is that today we are being educated pervasively, in the sense that not one agency, but several things, several sources are now creating the educational environment. And here, one very surprising thing is that non-educational institutions, corporations, governments, international organizations, individuals, community groups are engaged in future thinking. They are talking to the people about the future. And universities are not. In other words, the educational institutions are falling behind, are not keeping pace with the times. So in other words, we want our children to be future ready. But what we find is that the institutions, educational institutions, are not what we call engaged with the future. They are more reactive. In fact, if somebody talks about something new, he will perhaps not get a proper response in the environment, school environment. They say you are jumping far ahead of us or something like that. Depression. So this is the situation today. One more thing is that, so education is not the universities and education colleges, all the things they require to change their outlook with regard to the education setup or education. How they, of course, there is attempt is being made by new educational policy about what we call making multidisciplinary approach and all those things, and the importance of STEM and all that, importance of STEM related subjects. And we have neglected humanities a lot in the last 3 or 4 decades. I think we have to switch from that, because the psychological adjustment of people to the change that is taking place all over is not being, is also causing a lot of anxiety in the minds of children as well as the parents. And another angle, one thing I want to share with you, this is from some adult, a kind of a scholar of Prout also. And I want to tell you about something about what my granddaughter taught. I asked her, she's about 6 or 7 years. I said, in which class are you? She was very puzzled. She said, I don't have a class. I have got a flow class. What is a flow class? I asked. What is a flow class? I was very much puzzled. Flow class. She said, I have a dozen classrooms, and I am permitted to go and park myself in any of the classes. So one class is teaching music, one class is teaching what we call subject stories, one class is teaching some crafts, some like that. There are several activities going on. Also dance in someone class, there is a dance class. So all these classes are there, and the child is allowed to go and sit and or attend the class which he fancies or she likes. So there is no fixed class. There is no classroom. The class, fixed class. It's a flow class. So I am attending a flow class. She said, I don't have a classroom, designated classroom. No. So these are the new, what we call attempt concepts being, because now another aspect is, they say that it is anytime education. It's not ATM, not like ATM, anytime education, ATE. So now, because you have the resources, digital resources, and so many about education, why people are learning something on even YouTube also. So even YouTube is being created a medium. So now there are several ways and means of educating oneself. Online education is there. So there's the whole, we are entering a kind of a situation where a lot of flow, you can call it a flow or education flow. Our educational engagement is no longer something rigid, which is very flexible. And in this flexible environment, we do have challenges of designing a very healthy environment.
Okay, sir. Next round, please. Please keep for the next round. Madhusudanji, what will you like to add in here? You have heard all the discussions.
Okay. Very good. Namaskar.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, good. So I was looking at the topic of the discussion for today, and the topic seems to me to be a compare and contrast between neo-humanistic education and what we would otherwise call conventional education. And here in the United States, because I can only speak from my point of view because I don't know what's happening in India with education, but there's sort of a double education system in this country, a private education and a public education. Private education is for people who have money, and the public education is for everybody else. And the public education has been a terrible failure. Even in my town, Charlotte, North Carolina, where majority of the people in the public education system are low income. By the third grade, I believe it's 60 or 70% of the children are reading below grade level. And 60% of those are African American. And they say through their studies that if the child is not reading at grade level by third grade, they never catch up. They just keep falling behind. So the whole life is affected by that. So current education system is a failure. So when we talk about neo-humanistic education, what are we actually talking about? Because a neo-humanistic education system in a proud society is not going to look the same as a neo-humanistic education in a capitalist society. I mean, if we try to do we are running our schools right now, the market schools, and we're running what we're labeling as neo-humanistic education, but we're doing it in a capitalist environment. And so a lot of the difficulties that go along with capitalism that cause a lot of the problems in the public education system are affecting our schools too. So I think it's important that we define actually what is neo-humanistic education. I actually haven't heard a really clear definition. Just the fact that the teachers in our schools may be neo-humanistic, does that make our education system neo-humanist? Is our curriculum different than in a public or a conventional education system? I think it's really important that we identify in a very simple, clear terms exactly what we mean by neo-humanistic education. Here in Charlotte, North Carolina, for example, I've actually been asked by some people to run for school board. And if I was going to talk to the people in the public about neo-humanistic ideas, I'd have to be able to explain to them what those things are. How would those ideas differ from the ideas that are currently predominant in the education system? And I think we need to do a little bit more work on that, because until we do that, we won't be clear enough to ourselves. Plus, we need to be clear to the public. And I'd like to hear some other people comment on.
Thank you. Please stay on. Please stay on. We will need you more further. There will be more discussion. So next is Chatura. Please, can you please share your thoughts?
Namaskar, Dada.
Yeah, namaskar.
Namaskar to all participants. Regarding the discussion of the topic today, so when we
you may turn on your video. People should know who is speaking.
Yeah.
If you have problem, no problem. But otherwise, please go ahead.
So the thing is, regarding the modern education, when it comes to India, it was mainly started by Lord Macaulay in order to destabilize this country, which was morally so high. So the intention was from the beginning itself is not to enlighten the young minds or to enlighten this nation. It was to destroy this nation. And the rulers who ruled us, or the politicians who ruled us after the independence, they did not give any much importance for education. And whatever the syllabus which we had, they just glorified the scientists of foreign or overseas countries, or they started glorifying the people who came and started ruling us, or the conquerors who came here. So naturally, the Indian students who were part of this education had low confidence, because everywhere it was showed as if Indians were useless. Indians were, the people who were third-grade citizens, even in our textbooks as well. So this has come to the level wherein we don't know in which language we have to teach our children in the primary school, and what are the syllabus we have to keep. And also the irony is, like, we will be knowing the latitude or longitude of the American states, and we don't know the what is the climatic conditions of the place we live. So this is a total mockery of the the system which we are. And so the people, the student who gets graduated from this kind of education will be a burden to the society also, because he can't do anything new, or he can't contribute anything to the society also, because he will not be knowing the culture or
he or she.
Yeah, he or she, knowing the culture or anything, or the history or the economics or the nitty-gritty things of the which should be known to a person who is living in that particular place. So this is how it has come till now, and we are all, because if we see, we can't concentrate or do great things in any subject or any technology. We are just end up being the labor force. So this is what I wanted to add. Thank you.
Okay, you brought another aspect in the discussion. Okay, I would like to invite Veena Hari from North Carolina. Please, if you can hear me, please give your thoughts.
Yes. Namaskar, Dada, and everybody else. I just want to introduce myself a little bit. I have studied in India and lived in the US for the last 50 some years. I've taught school and retired from the school system. So I can speak a little bit from experience from both sides. Our Hillary Clinton says that it takes a village to raise a kid. It takes a village to raise a kid. And I think what we are talking right now is very similar to that. It's not the responsibility of the school. It's not only the responsibility of the parent. It's not only the responsibility of the community. It's together. We need to work on it and make sure that our coming up generation has a better future.
Great. You added new dimension to the whole discussion. It takes a whole village to raise a kid. Okay, good. Raise a citizen. Okay, next, please just stay on and please ponder what people are sharing with you and everyone. Please, Govardhan Gaurji, please come forward. And yes.
What actually the modern world today speaks about the life skills in our education. This I want to just emphasize it further. So according to the World Health Organization definition, the life skill means the ability for adaptive and positive behavior that enable individuals to deal effectively with the demands and challenges of everyday life. And UNICEF defines life skills as a behavior change or a behavior development approach designed to address a balance of the three areas, that is knowledge, attitude, and skills. So the scope of this education, that is a life skill based education, is vast. According to them, it can prevent the drug use, it can prevent the sexual violence, it can avoid the teenage pregnancy, HIV, AIDS prevention, and prevention of suicides. All these are all possible if the life skills are incorporated in our modern education. That's why now they do not want to confine the education only to the academics. Rather, they want to extend this education to consumer education, environmental education, peace education, or education for development, livelihood, income generation, such other aspects. So life skills empower the young people to take positive actions to protect themselves and promote health and a positive social relationship. For that, so they want to incorporate self-awareness skills in the students, empathy and sympathy skills, problem-solving skills, decision-making skills, and thinking skills, create and communication skills, interpersonal skills, accepting criticism skills. All these things they want to achieve by encouraging discussion, debate, role play, brainstorm, storytelling, songs and dances, case studies, mimicry, etc. So by using these techniques, they want to enhance the life skills among the students so that they can adapt themselves to the changing circumstances. Eventually, they can face any sort of challenge or demand. So for that, so now even in the state governments, all education boards and central boards, they are now incorporating such subjects in the syllabus, and to certain extent, they are trying their best to incorporate the life skills in the education. This is what actually outside people they are doing. Now, I will speak later on about our new ministry.
Yes, thank you. I know there are many more very highly qualified people who are here who can speak, who can give their views. Please come forward and share your thoughts. I should not have to call name. Rajendra ji, if you are there, please, you know some of them who can. Rajendra ji, if you are there, you know better who should be called. Otherwise, Haranand ji, please, next round.
In the end, Dada, I would like to say something.
Yes, no, not in the end. This session will continue till 9:30. You are coming back. Yes, yes.
So I will make some concluding statement also, because what Mr. Govardhan said, I had already done these things being an officer in UNICEF, and particularly in the education department. I have done all sort of skill training to the teachers and the students. But I would like to point it out that the result was negligible or rather zero. Why it was zero, that I will tell you in my concluding statement in the end.
All right. So may I call maybe Prabha Agrawal? Will you share something?
Namaskar, everybody.
Yeah, namaskar. Yes.
It was very enlightening to listen to all our speakers. I would say, like, education begins at home. So the very fact that we say good morning and not suprabhat itself is like अपना जो culture है, उसकी वजह से हम शुरू से ही मार खा रहे हैं. And that is not really helping the coming generation. It's not that any language is bad, but the communication, the expression is much better in your language. And you can think also, feel also better in your own language. So giving importance to that is also very important. And there was something in my mind which is just I'm not able to remember anymore. Maybe I'll come back.
Yes. Please take your notes and come back again. Acharya Dilip ji, I would like to ask you to share your thoughts with the audience, please. Participants. Acharya Dilip ji.
Namaskar. My preparation on this subject is very less, but still I would like to say something. The life has three aspects, and which is also, when we grow up, we are taught that there is IQ, there is EQ, there is SQ. So this IQ comes, that is something from the DNA itself. There are people in the early years, they pick up very fast and they get a lot of information, and they gather all those information, and you can see, as in the Hindi, there is a saying, or they say doha, honhar birwan ke hote sikne paat. So you can just see in their early years that they are very good in picking up the subject and those things. For them, education becomes in a different way. But as people grow, the emotional aspect of the personality, that the society is responsible, the family members are responsible, and the government as such, which makes the curriculum. So that responsibility comes to them. And there is one aspect which is SQ, that is spiritual question, which is not being taught at all. It's not a part of a curriculum of the students, and here things lies, that the problem lies. So in the
what is SQ? Please also tell to the audience.
Spiritual.
Yes, just say like that. Yes, spiritual question. Yes.
Yeah, I said spiritual question. So, so that aspect is lacking in the education policies. I can see in India, I don't know, worldwide also things must be in the same way. And the base of spirituality is the morality. So that moral education is also lacking, which shapes the citizen, which shapes the person. So this in the humanistic education policy, side by side, when as the kid grows from 3 years or 4 years onward, he must be given exposure for the spirituality, for the meditation, for the brighter side of these kind of things to be put in his mind by the family members, by the society. So then things will be much better. So this is what I thought of sharing here.
Thank you. Who else?
Yes, Namaskar, I am Rajendra.
Oh yes, Rajendra ji, please.
So just because I was hearing Dada, and I remember that the quote of Vivekananda, that education is not the amount of information that we put into our brain and runs right there. So all it has to, we must have a life-building, man-making, character-making assimilation of ideas.
Human-making, not man-making.
Human-making, yes, human-making, yes, is the. Yeah. So that is what and for modern education, if you call, even Dr. Radhakrishnan is a very known, while explaining modern education, he says that aim of education has thus been conceived not merely as a means of earning of living or preparation for the life, but as an indispensable factor in the full and harmonious development of the total personality of a person. So with this, looking at these things, the present education, where ultimately it goes, whether it is an art, science, culture, everything, it ends in earning money. And whatever we are talking of depression, anxiety, suicide, so many, these are the reason of scarcity. The people are fighting. Even if I have 99 and 100, the person 99 getting is itself is good enough. But because of the limited requirements, enough space is not there. So they are, defeated in spite of having that level. And that is the reason why people are running with an anxiety. Even if you see the people who are in queue for the job. So that is the reason why, that is also the reason the scarcity of the job, especially in youths, indefinite future, that is also causing the anxiety and the kind of things we discuss, suicide and other things. So this is what comes to my mind immediately. Thank you, Dada.
Thank you. Harananji, yes. I would like to call you again, please. Say something more.
Yeah.
Dada, I know you have a whole wealth of things to share, please.
No, not exactly, Dada, but little that I have learned through my experiences.
We are all like that, Dadaji, but yes, please, your treasures, please.
Thank you, Dada. Actually, I had the opportunity to learn so many things because My father was an educationist, and we spent our entire childhood, amidst these principals and all those educated people. So, but of course, I have that advantage of experience. One thing is, I fully agree with all the views that are coming forward, that, whole village has to be together for rearing up a child, as Didi quoted Miss Clinton. So, but the problem is, let's say, I'm trying to now understand things in the Indian context. We keep on talking about Western education. That's fine as far as technology is concerned. But let me tell you that a country which got independence is in 1776. That is almost 248 years ago. I mean, almost 250 years, let us round up. 250 years ago, has repeated incidents of ethnic conflict between blacks and whites, despite the fact that, Luther, Martin Luther came and he gave all those great songs, we shall overcome and all that. So, let's not be having great notions about some so-called great countries. They are definitely wealthy countries. But, what humanism they have taught in their schools is evident when the police is, ruthlessly killing black people around. We know all this. And when an ex-constable enters some place and shoots 37 or so many children. So, let us forget about all that. So these so-called advanced countries, I'm sorry to say, they have not taught humanism in their schools. They may be having 10 Nobel laureates in one university. That's a different thing. And we may not be having one Nobel laureate after Rabindranath Tagore. That is true. These are historical facts. But the system of Gurukul and universities, that let us look at the past, I'm not glorifying the past. But, this when Buddhist universities used to flourish at Nalanda and, at Udantpura, there are, and Vikramshila, 3 great Buddhist universities. So students from all over the world used to come and learn things. And, Wensong, Fahyan, all these people talk so high about the Indian system of education. It is true that the Macaulay system of education, as one of the elite speakers pointed out, destroyed the whole cultural values. But Baba's aim was to revive the Gurukul system, to resurrect that value system. So that value system we have been missing. And this is now an integral part of Neo-Humanistic schooling. It is true that we need to invest a lot more in our infrastructure, in our primary schools, which Baba wanted and said, catch them young, because young people can be molded. The older people are totally crystallized in their thoughts. They have fixed straight jackets of thoughts. So it's very difficult to change their ideas or modify their ideas. So basically, definitely, as if we see the context of this country, where 40 crore children don't have access to proper schools, they go to public schools which don't have basic facilities. Let us accept one fact that at least in this country, we have not given proper priority to education. Otherwise, the condition of government schools, which I have seen from my childhood days, moving with my father in different parts of the country. So that was so unfortunate. And that started the trend of moving to private schools. And then the business lobby was probably eager to capture this opportunity. They capitalized on it. And now education and health have become big business, big business ideas. People are earning crores and crores. And of course, they have good labs, they have good buildings, air-conditioned buildings. There are schools in Delhi which have air-conditioned football grounds. That's fine. But what about moral education? As Dada rightly pointed out, that spiritual quotient is missing. So the main thrust of, as our friend from USA was telling, we are not clear about what is Neo-Humanistic education. I say there is perfect clarity. We have to supplement the syllabus. I don't say that you throw out the present syllabus. It is very good. Science, technology must be taught. games, sports, everything must be incorporated. The present syllabus is fine, but we have to amalgamate with it, integrate with it the spiritual part, the moral part, the ethical part. Otherwise, people will keep on killing each other in every part of the world, whether it is Ukraine, whether it is USA or Southeast Asia. So this is the harvest that we have reaped of education after so-called Western education. And of course, I am not glorifying Indian education. We still have so many superstitions. Only a day before in Kerala, 2 innocent women were sacrificed, Narbali. And I was shocked. Narbali used to take place in Kali Mandir at Kolkata. And it was a standard practice in many eastern parts of the country, especially in temples. But in the present day, women getting sacrificed as Narbali in Kerala, it was utterly shocking, and the whole world must have been shocked to hear this news. And they will now quote Indian context to justify all their violence. So that is how it happens. So my submission is that syllabus should be the same. We have to slightly, amplify it, modify it, and add some certain things which Baba wanted. The discipline part, the ethical part, the moral part, the spiritual part. We have already done it. I met an IS officer, and later on he told me at the end of the meeting, he was talking very fondly about Anand schools. Later on, he told me that I've studied in one of the primary schools of Anand Marg. He was fondly recollecting those days. So I felt very happy. I mean, it's good that you are still able to recollect your school days. He said, yes, I have been groomed in such a way that I know how to respect monks, how to respect spiritualists, moralists. And he gave us a lot of respect. We had gone in a team to meet for some work at some place. So that's how we have to supplement the syllabus. And our friend was talking about failures of experiments, teachers, because we don't have passionate teachers who have passion for teaching. What is happening? The best lot in this country is moving out either to civil services or to engineering or to, management, different. They are moving to corporate world for, as Dada rightly said, for the lure of money. So it's good. But this is the problem, that the greed of money has, obliterated the boundaries between need and greed. And again, I am not very happy to quote Gandhi, but I am bound to, where he said that there is enough for need, but not enough for greed. So we have to integrate this, we must form a training module, as Dada rightly said, for training our teachers. And as another Dada rightly pointed out, that we have to train our parents also. Parents cannot, exonerate themselves. Okay, look, we don't have time. We are uneducated. Then why? Who told you to produce children? If you can't handle your children at your home, who told you to produce them? Better you don't produce. I'm sorry to use such harsh words. But parents have to own up their responsibility. And that's why the society is going berserk. Children whole day are busy with their YouTubes, Facebook, and parents are not aware what they are doing in their study rooms. That is, we all know what is happening around, and parents are just, after when the results are bad, when something is happening with the child, boy, girl, and they start weeping, crying, oh, I didn't know. But I didn't know is not the answer. If you don't know your child, you have no right to be a parent of the child. That's all from my side.
Thank you, Dada. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. Please just stay on. Everybody, I will request, please stay on. There are more
can I request Dada's
learned people here? So, yes.
Didi Srija, you have not spoken, I think. And Bharti Raj Didi is a good speaker and still she's silent. Didi, Bharti Raj, and Didi.
Oh, yeah, she's here. Yes. Bharti Raj, please.
She's dealing with the
speak out your mind. Yes, please unmute yourself. Yes.
Yes. Bharti Raj Didi, you are muted again.
नमस्कार दादा, नमस्कार टू एवरीवन।
नमस्कार।
आज का जो टॉपिक है वो है एजुकेशन पे। तो सबसे पहले हमें ये समझना होगा कि एजुकेशन होता क्या है। एजुकेशन वो चीज है जिससे कि हमें लिबरेशन मिले, और 2 लेवल पे हो सकता है वो लिबरेशन, एक हम मटेरियल लेवल पे भी सोच सकते हैं और दूसरा एक स्पिरिचुअल लेवल पे सोच सकते हैं। तो ऐसा चीज जिससे कि माइंड एक्सपेंशन हो। अगर हम मटेरियल लेवल पे जाएं तो हमें स्किल आना चाहिए, और जिससे कि हम कुछ काम कर सके, दूसरे को हेल्प कर सके, अपने जो इंटरेस्ट भगवान हमको दिए हैं उसको हम बेहतर से बेहतर ग्रूम अप कर सके, पॉलिश कर चुके, और उसको अपने से समाज के लेवल पे ले जा करके, इंसान के लेवल, इंसानियत के लेवल पे ले जा करके सर्व कर सके अपने उस स्किल से। और दूसरा होता है आध्यात्मिक लेवल पे। तो आध्यात्मिक लेवल पे हमें जीव से शिव बनना है, आत्मा से परमात्मा, जो कि फाइनल ऑब्जेक्टिव है एक ह्यूमन लाइफ का। तो ये दोनों जो चीज टीच करेगा वो है एजुकेशन। अब हम आते हैं न्यू एजुकेशन पे। व्हाट इज न्यू एजुकेशन? न्यू मीन्स नॉट ओनली फॉर ह्यूमंस बट प्लांट्स, एनिमल्स, सबके लिए। और बाबा जो न्यू ह्यूमनिस्टिक एजुकेशन का डिटेल बताएं, उसमें ये बताएं क्लासरूम जो होना चाहिए उसमें प्लांट्स भी होना चाहिए, उस स्कूल कैंपस में एनिमल्स भी होना चाहिए, सो दैट कि बचपन से आपका बॉन्डिंग बन सके प्लांट्स, एनिमल, और वसुदेव कुटुंबकम का फीलिंग आएगा कि दिस वर्ल्ड इज नॉट ओनली फॉर ह्यूमंस बट प्लांट्स, एनिमल, और सब एक दूसरे के पूरक है। हम बल्कि प्लांट्स, एनिमल, ह्यूमंस के बिना जी सकते हैं, लेकिन ह्यूमंस प्लांट्स के बिना नहीं जी सकता, एक सेकंड नहीं जी सकता है। तो ये जो ओवरऑल जो ये तरीका है लाइफ जीने का, वो हमें एक एजुकेशन सिखाता है। हम इंसान ह्यूमन बॉडी में जन्म तो लिए हैं, लेकिन ह्यूमन कैसे जीता है, कैसे जीना चाहिए, ये हमें एजुकेशन सिखाता है। तो एक कुछ स्किल्स होते हैं जो बेसिक स्किल्स होते हैं, वो सबको आना चाहिए, जैसे एग्रीकल्चर करना, स्टिचिंग करना, बिल्डिंग बनाना, और मेडिसिन,
कारपेंट्री करना,
हाँ कारपेंट्री,
पॉटरी,
फिर प्लम्बिंग,
यस,
हाँ
लॉन्ड्री,
प्लम्बिंग,
यस,
जितने भी
प्लगिंग,
बेसिक स्किल है, ड्राइविंग,
Correct.
स्विमिंग, ये सबको सिखाना चाहिए। हर स्कूल में ये चीज होना चाहिए, जो कि इंडियन के गुरुकुल सिस्टम में भी था। हर कुछ सेल्फ डिपेंडेंट बनाए, हर चीज का जो बेसिक स्किल्स है वो आना चाहिए। कल को अगर हम किसी एक ऐसी जगह चले जाते हैं जहाँ कुछ नहीं है, तो खुद से आना चाहिए। और कोरोना काल एक अच्छा एग्जाम्पल था जिसमें कि वो लोग ज्यादा खुश थे और वो इंडिपेंडेंट, और उनको कोई टेंशन नहीं था, जो लोग को इन सारे बेसिक स्किल्स आते थे। कहा भी जाता है कि किसान सबसे ज्यादा खुश थे, क्योंकि उनको चिंता नहीं था, अपना पेट का पालन वो कर सकते थे खुद से। एग्रीकल्चर,
दूध दही भी उनके पास था, घर को सफाई करना भी जानते थे, और सारे स्किल्स उनको पता है। एकेडमिकली नहीं होंगे, लेकिन हाउ टू लिव ए गुड लाइफ दे नो दैट।
यस दादा। तो एक एजुकेशन का ऑब्जेक्टिव होता है कि हम एक सेल्फ डिपेंडेंट लाइफ जी सके, और उसका हायर ऑब्जेक्टिव ये कि खुद ही नहीं, हम अपने स्किल, टैलेंट, सबको एक समाज के लेवल पे दूसरों को भी हेल्प कर सके, और मिलजुल के जो फाइनल ऑब्जेक्टिव है जीव से शिव बनना, हम सब मिलजुल के वहां तक पहुंच सके, एक दूसरे को हेल्प करें वहां तक पहुंचने के लिए। आज का जो एजुकेशन सिस्टम वो कॉम्पिटिटिव मोड में है। हर एक बच्चा एक दूसरे से compete कर रहा है कि हम टॉप कैसे करें, हम तुमसे आगे कैसे बढ़े। किसी का ये ऑब्जेक्टिव नहीं है कि कॉपरेट करे, और भी कॉपरेटिव सिस्टम दिए हैं कि कॉपरेट करे। जैसे कि एक बेस्ट एग्जांपल आईएम्स के कॉलेज में होता है कि अगर उस सेक्शन का बच्चा, एक क्लास का कोई भी एक बच्चा अगर फेल होता है तो पूरा क्लास फेल होगा। तो ऐसा होना चाहिए, उसमें कॉपरेशन का भावना आता है कि नहीं भाई, किसी को फेल नहीं होने देना है। यू नीड टू हेल्प ईच अदर टू सक्सीड इन द एग्जामिनेशन। तो इस तरह के हम लोग जो है पॉइंट्स अपने एजुकेशन सिस्टम में डाल सकते हैं। पहला कि स्किल डेवलपमेंट, दूसरा सॉफ्ट स्किल। एक तो स्किल हो गया, दूसरा सॉफ्ट स्किल जिसमें आता है डिसिप्लिन, एथिक, मैनर, हाँ, और स्पिरिचुअल स्टडीज भी कि कैसे हम इवॉल्व करें। जो बॉडी के लिए, माइंड के लिए तो हमने पढ़ लिया, लेकिन सोल के लिए भी तो पढ़ाई करना है, जो ओवरऑल ऑब्जेक्टिव है लाइफ का। और हर थ्योरी का प्रैक्टिकल होना चाहिए बैक टू बैक। भाई बोले कि अगर आप कितने भी बड़े स्कॉलर हैं, आपकी कितनी भी बड़ी विद्या है, लेकिन उसका अगर आप ह्यूमैनिटी के लिए यूज नहीं हो पा रहा तो उसका कोई वैल्यू नहीं है। तो सिमिलरली हम कितना भी थ्योरी जान रहे हैं, बट उसका अगर हम प्रैक्टिकल नहीं कर पा रहे हैं, उसको हम अपने लाइफ में नहीं अप्लाई कर पा रहे हैं, तो उसका कोई वैल्यू नहीं है। तो हमें ऐसा एजुकेशन करना है तुरंत उसको प्रैक्टिकलिटी में कन्वर्ट कर सके, तुरंत हम उसका यूज कर सके। अभी बहुत सारे बच्चे जो नॉर्मल करिकुलम में इंटीग्रेशन पढ़ रहे हैं, डिफरेंशिएशन पढ़ रहे हैं, लिमिट्स पढ़ रहे हैं, बट उसका डेली लाइफ में यूज ही नहीं हो रहा है सबके। तो आपको वैसा पढ़ाई पढ़ना है और इंटरेस्ट के हिसाब से पढ़ना है। भगवान सबके अंदर डिफरेंट डिफरेंट इंटरेस्ट दिए हैं। एक सोसाइटी सिर्फ डॉक्टर्स से नहीं चल सकता, उसमें कारपेंटर भी होना चाहिए। अभी अगर नल में पानी आना बंद हो जाए, खराब हो जाए, सारा इंजीनियर का सारा डॉक्टरी खत्म हो जाएगा, उस समय एक प्लम्बर चाहिए होता है।
Right, Didi, we understood your feelings.
Yes.
So every level there should be education.
Yes, Tara. These were my points. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Please stay on. Bharti Raj, you will stay on, please. Let us see where we conclude. Okay.
Dada, I think we should talk of solution. And Dada L.K. Agarwalji wanted to conclude something. So I think he should be.
Yeah, he will conclude his thoughts. And after that, you will conclude the session. Yes, L.K. Agarwalji, please. You have 5 minutes to conclude your thoughts.
Just a minute. My video has gone somewhere. Just a minute.
The video. Yes.
Just a minute.
So by the time Govardhan ji wanted to say a few words. Yes, Govardhan ji.
Dada, actually, in our neo-humanistic education, we teach Paravidya as well as Aparavidya. Both togetherly will address Artha, Madhyartha and Paramartha. So, means at physical level, psychic level and spiritual levels, we will move towards the perfection. And as our Baba defines, Vidya means Sa Vidyaya Vimuktaye. Real education will liberate you from all sorts of bondages, whether it is physical, psychic or spiritual level. So in this, the selection of the teachers is very, very important. Today, teachers are being projected as villains and jokers in our serials and films. Many films I have seen in Telugu, so where teacher is being projected as a joker or a villain. So teachers must be selected because we believe that teachers are the Samaj Gurus as per our Baba, beloved Baba. So teachers means Acharana Patayati Sa Acharya. So he will, by setting himself as an example, he will teach others. Then only teachers can have influence over the students. At least few of the students they can influence. So due to that reason, we need to select teachers based on their strength of character, morality, leadership skills, etc. Unfortunately, today we see only their academic qualifications, their experience and patents, publications, etc. We are not bothered about their strength of character or morality, leadership skills or spiritual strength or inner strength. We are least bothered about those qualifications. But we need to search for those qualifications if we want to strengthen the education.
Thank you.
Simply teaching in the schools is not
syllabus.
Not enough. The syllabus we have so many moral values, so many good stories. But once you come out of the school, the outside environment is not at all good. There is a degenerating environment that will degenerating the students. That's why external environment has to be improved, because we say that we believe that Abhoga Samsargat Praptireshana. If the object of enjoyment is nearby you, you will feel like to enjoy it. If the degenerating objects are available nearby you, be it in any form, so obviously you will be degenerated. That's why to keep the outside environment, the rule of teacher.
L.K. Agarwalji, yes, sir. Please.
Yes, brother. Yes, brother. I am audible?
Yes, very much.
Dada, I conclude it with few words. About 1 year back, I had gone to Notre Dame Academy at Patna to give a training to the girls on life skills. I gave a very good presentation, and then the principal called me in her room and said, Mr. Agarwal, you gave a wonderful presentation on life skills, but tell me one thing, that will your presentation stop the children surfing all sort of dirty things on the internet? So I was simply silent because I knew that it will not help. So actually what I want to say is, Dada, that the neo-humanistic education, which is a life skill or value education, and the conventional education, should go side by side, number one. Number two, what the students need today, because they don't only want neo-humanistic education or life skill or value education. They want something practical. All the speakers said very good things, but we need to bring all these things to the platform of reality, to the practical platform. The student wants that, is there someone who could help them out to speed up their academic process? How could my academic process be speed up? That is one of the major questions which the students have today. Is there someone who could guide me to choose the best career option? क्या कोई ऐसा आदमी है जो मुझे बता सकता है कि हम कौन सा करियर, हम 12th पास करने के बाद हम इंजीनियरिंग लाइन में जाएं कि मेडिकल लाइन में जाएं, कैसे जाएं? क्या कोई आदमी ऐसा है? Is there someone who could judge my competency and the ability within me to guide me to the success, to the future success? हम क्यों न्यू ह्यूमैनिस्टिक एजुकेशन को माने? Why will I go for a new humanistic education? That is the point, that we need to have a practical approach what the parents want. Earlier I said what is the concern of the parents. Secondly, I said what is the concern of the students. And when these two things are amalgamated, then the parents and teachers will welcome her. Every parent will welcome us in their home. What is neo-humanistic education? Please tell me. I will follow the neo-humanistic education mode. The students will say, yes, yes, this is very good, because you have guided me practically. Now I will follow what is neo-humanism, because all these theoretical lectures won't do. We need to have something practical, and that is why I was telling that we need to develop a very powerful and a systematic module to train the teachers, to train the students, and to train the parents. And everybody will welcome me. Otherwise, everything will be theoretical. Everything will be confined to this Zoom meeting and nothing more than that. Nothing is going to help unless we have a training module. So what I want to say is, Dada, that we need to develop, because as I said in my introduction, I am LK Agarwal here. So just develop a group in which we can have a discussion for say 10 days, 15 days, 20 days, or even a month. And if a 1 month discussion is more than sufficient, if educationists come together, we will discuss this, then we will sit down and will fabricate a module as per the norms of neo-humanism, as per the conventional education, and will counsel the teachers, will counsel the students, will go in the schools, will make a presentation, will have an interaction with the students, and then only we can reach to the state of success. Otherwise, I have a 20 years experience with UNICEF. I have gone to villages. I have gone to schools. There is no schools left in Bihar, the missionary school or the DAV schools left in Bihar where I have not visited. I have visited all the Kendriya Vidyalayas, all the Navodaya Vidyalayas. I have conducted hundreds and hundreds of life skill training programs, but none has produced any result unless and until we go for a very, very practical module on neo-humanism.
Thank you. Yes. Okay, we take note of that and we pursue that matter. Yes, Srija and then Tatwik Parashnathji, time is running out. It's getting late in the night. We have only 10 minutes to conclude everything. I know more than you, two people, many more will say their concluding words. Can you please, Srija, Didi?
Yes, Dada, I just want to say one thing, that what Dada has said is actually true. Whatever we say, if unless it is implemented, it's not productive. So to say that, it was something that comes to my mind is about the Gurukul education. If we already have it as our model, but if it go online, that would be a way of getting, because today everything we know it is accessible, and what is being accessible is the question, is the issue today, and the accessibility should be ensured on spiritual education, on Gurukul education, I would say, which is all inclusive. And the other thing I wanted to say is like about the one aspect that comes to my mind is the layers of mind. Isn't that the expansion of mind that happens? Isn't that the advancement of mind? Advancement of mind means brings in advancement in education. We learn about ourselves. And once that happens, this confusion among this generation that what is good for me, what is not good for me, unable to identify, will stand dissolved. And this would be a way of getting children to understand how they should really advance, because
so
there's already a
that is a matter of SQ, spiritual quotient. Yes, Tatvik Parashnathji, please.
And one more point, Dada. When we say spiritual quotient, I would also say the social consciousness itself should become a quotient, because that is where the biggest lacuna is. Then every person should be able to judge themselves.
So you are bringing in an aspect of cultural quotient. Right. We have heard of intellectual quotient, intelligent quotient. We have emotional quotient, happiness quotient, spiritual quotient, and actually I was going to add cultural quotient. If you think of the any advanced European societies, if you go to Germany, for 8 years they don't teach children anything but culture. They just teach them culture and manners and cultures. That's all. That's what is happening in the schools. Nothing else. They teach how to interact with each other, how to respect each other, how to handle things, how to offer things, how to live in a room. So what is the dining table manner, how to eat your food, how to catch your spoon and fork. They teach all the cultural things, eating culture, dressing culture, all these things. So cultural quotient makes human because it is culture which differentiate human and non-human. Humans have culture, non-humans have no culture. And nobody is talking of cultural quotient. You see, nobody is paying attention to it. We are not talking of American experiment. America is an experiment. Even very recently, President Joe Biden has mentioned, we started an experiment and we have to see that experiment is successful. Entire America is an experiment. We keep that case as a separate case. And but if you think of Finland, if you think of Sweden, if you think of Norway, if you think of Japan, if you think of Thailand, if you go to Indonesia, every student has the manner and the culture to be a national of that society, to be a citizen of Indonesia, to be a citizen of Japan. Oh my God, big supermarkets making a lot of money, but they know how to respect you, bowing before you, bowing down before you. Any highly educated people, they respect by bowing down before you like that. What is that? Cultural quotient. Without culture, a human does not remain a human. A nation will not remain a nation. It will become a market. And if the governments want to convert their societies into a marketplace, that's what has been going on. That's what has been going on. And the entire education system is tuned to create only a market participants, either sellers or buyers, When I went to America first time, I was amazed to see everybody is talking, Dadaji, I'm not going, nobody will buy your idea. I mean, I'm not selling my idea. No. If I agree with your idea, I will end up paying something. Yes. Everything is buying and selling. Even you are talking something, people accept it or not accept it, it will be described in terms of nobody will buy it. Yeah, everybody can buy this idea. Yes, I'm ready for buying this idea. Everything is buying and selling. Mother's love is buying and selling. What can you say? So if all the governments of the world, they are on a mode of creating a market only, that's what is the evil of everything. That we have been creating only a marketplace. Only a marketplace. European countries, they have maintained their cultural identity. Say, no, we know what to do with ourselves. You do your experiments. But unfortunately, big country like India, second largest democracy in the world, we are not clear about our education system. Somebody is copying STEM. STEM, President Obama brought the STEM. We had our own STEM system, thousands and thousands years old, 2,000, 3,000 years old universities. We were already teaching them science and technology and all this. What is new? Mathematics. What is new for us? But this is being presented as a new education system. So a lot of work is there, but Baba has already given us Neo-Humanism, Neo-Humanistic education system, and we have Gurukul already, and Gurukul has got, and if you see Anand Marga history from not the beginning, from 1963 onward, when we started these schools in India, we were the only missionary, we were the only private schools in the cities and in the places. They were government schools, and they were Christian missionary schools, and they were private schools were Anand Marga schools. Now Anand Marga is nowhere, and so many private schools are just crowded everywhere, all the space. And that time I'm remembering that Baba has given education model, and the module that L.K. Agarwal is telling is there already, how to train our teachers, and the life skills, they're all included in there. So we may have to rediscover our own education system from that era, because when Baba came out of his incarceration, thereafter Baba had no time. He knew that he will stay not more than 12-15 years, so he started giving many more things, which became the treasures of Anand Marga ideology. Like Neo-Humanism was not there before. Like 11 books of Prout were not there before. Like biopsychology was not there before. Microbiota science was not there before. Prabhat Sangeet, of course, was not there before. There are so many things not there. Baba started spending time in these things, and education became like got a back seat. But then Baba also created Gurukul just before leaving his physical body. In September, Baba created Gurukul, and we have a Gurukul department. And Gurukul is existing, is doing a lot of work. And so I think L.K. Agarwalji, I will encourage you to sit with the Gurukul department and education department of Anand Marga. And I am also interested in education. So let us see, we can do something there.
Dada, your thoughts on going online on Gurukul? Like this is a process of integration.
It's integration, yes. Tatvik Parasnathji, will you like to say something?
Dada, namaskar.
Yes.
Dada, we have discussed everything, but we have not talked about the practice of spirituality from the very beginning. Because New Humanism has got 3 steps. One is to practice the spirituality from the very beginning. And second is consider it as an essence of their own life. And third is spirituality should be considered as a mission. From
so all these things comes, like L.K. Agarwal is suggesting that we should create a module, and that module should be, offered, and people should be brought into and participate in the module, and that will create some really good educators, good teachers. And
Dada, I would like to say that with my small brain, I have worked out a module. I have a module. And actually, I want to share the module with these learned people so that some modifications can be done in that module, and can be, because when I was in UNICEF, I had created a module of myself, taking Neo-Humanism into that module, and with the conventional education and with the UNICEF ideas and the ideas of the CBSE and ICSE, that module has been created.
Today it's too late. I know that it will be injustice for you if we cut you short there. But please coordinate with, get in touch with me again and Rajendra ji and Haranand ji there, Dada. So we will create more programs here online, and there we will have a full session on that.
Dada, you please share my number with them also, and then we can have.
Can you please write in the chat area yourself, and that will be more accurate.
But at the same time, I will say that we have a magazine. If he can share his model, we can publish in our magazine. Right. And many people.
Dada, actually, that cannot be published at this point of time.
At this stage, yeah.
Okay.
Because some modifications has to be done, because I have
finalized it, Dada, and then send us. Okay. By the time you give your number, okay.
Okay, I'm sorry to say it's too late now, 9:30, and L.K. Agarwal his contacts are with me. Please write to me, remind me. I will send you personally separately. So thank you all very much for participating, and it was very interesting and productive.
Thank you. Really,
session. And please come back again next Wednesday again same time, and we will have more. Thank you. We do a minute of addition together, and then we close the session for the day. We are closing the session.
Thank
please
you.
come on
Thank you,
time.
everyone.
Please come on time, everybody. I request, please come on time.